President Biden today will host several Democratic governors in a virtual call to discuss the next steps in safeguarding abortion rights at the state level. The meeting follows the Supreme Court's ruling last week to overturn Roe v. Wade and the immediate response from Republican-controlled states to enact stricter bans on abortion, some of them immediately with trigger laws. Joining us now, Democratic Congresswoman Sharice Davids of Kansas and the co-founder and CEO of the group All In Together, Lauren Leader. Great to have you both with us. Congresswoman, I want to begin with you and just take Kansas, your state, as a snapshot of what's happening there. The Supreme Court upheld a couple of years ago there in your state the right to an abortion, but there is something on the ballot coming up next month that could change that.
Yeah, that's right. So currently the Kansas legislature is barred from passing laws that would place an undue burden on people seeking reproductive health care services. But we have a constitutional amendment on the ballot on August 2nd. And, this is so important as Kansans have watched our neighboring states like Missouri pass some very extreme laws, total bans that would criminalize people seeking health care. And similar proposals have been introduced in Kansas previously, but were blocked by our Constitution. And so, we're doing everything we can to beat back this constitutional amendment that would really not just pave a path for those extreme proposals, but essentially create a highway to those extreme bans. And Kansans have made their voices heard multiple times that this is not the direction we want to go.
So this, Congresswoman, is a case study for what's happening across the country for a lot of people fighting for abortion rights. As you say, if this passes, it's possible that someone who is raped or who is the victim of incest would have to deliver that baby. What is your recourse here? What can activists do? What can members of Congress do? What can regular people who want to protect these rights do in their hometowns, in their home states?
Yeah, well, I can tell you here in Kansas, so many people are working to make sure that, on August 2nd, that everybody knows that this constitutional amendment is on our ballot and to vote no, because we don't want to eliminate constitutional rights. Kansas is the free state, and we have fought long and hard to make sure that we continue to be so. And I think that making sure that our neighbors, that folks know that we're going to be the first place in the country to have voters speak on this specific issue and make their voices heard, and make sure that everybody knows it's not okay to take away our rights. It's not okay for politicians to be trying to insert themselves into our healthcare decisions, our reproductive healthcare decisions. And it's not okay to have these extreme bans on access to the full range of reproductive health care services, including abortion and contraception. And I think that is I cannot overstate the importance of this constitutional amendment we have on the ballot on August 2nd.
Congresswoman, there's quite a lot of concern around the country amongst Democrats that I've spoken to that come November, when it's a few months after the Supreme Court's ruling on Roe, and at a time when Americans are really struggling economically with inflation, with high gas prices, that actually other issues might be more important, and those other issues might favor Republican candidates in the midterm elections. Is that what makes the amendment, this amendment in Kansas, so interesting to look at? Partly because it's sooner, it's in August, but also because it's specifically on the issue of abortion. And so you're going to be able to gauge the kind of temperature, if you want, of how many people turn out to vote on that one single issue in this amendment. I think the importance of the August primary that we have here in Kansas is, absolutely, it's going to help us see how many people are really willing to step up and fight for people to be able to make their own decisions about their health care without the intervention of, frankly, some pretty extreme politicians. But I also think that, as it relates to this issue being on the ballot in August, it is also on the ballot in November, along with so many other things. You mentioned
the costs of everything going up, whether we're talking about gas or things at the grocery store, if you can get your hands on things. And I think that, you know, while people are very, very upset, people are scared, people are frustrated and angry about the decision of the Supreme Court to overturn Roe, I also think that people continue to be very concerned and frankly frustrated about the rising cost of gas, about the costs at the grocery store. And I don't think that those two things are mutually exclusive in any way. I think that people are very concerned about all of it.
At the end of the day, inflation may trump everything. You mentioned November. We should point out that your opponent, it's a rematch. You defeated this Republican, Ms. Adkins, 2 years ago. Running against you again this year. She is against abortion even in cases of rape and incest, and has advocated for the defunding of Planned Parenthood. So I'm sure we'll be talking to you much more as we go forward. Democratic Congresswoman Sharice Davids of Kansas, thanks so much for being with us. Enjoy the holiday weekend. We appreciate your time today.